Thank you, everyone. And now the next one, I'm going to ask you to condense your answer to just one word. So I'm going to give you a moment to ponder on that word. And the question is, gratitude makes me feel. What one word represents this for you? And Kathy, when you're ready, we're going to go back and start with you again.
Yes.
You're off the hook.
Why one word answers is not my forte. Gratitude makes me feel I just have to go with expanded.
Energized.
Love.
Well, I was going to go with expanded because I thought that Kathy was going to choose connected because you keep saying that word, but those are the two key words for me. So we'll go with connected.
Serenity, serene.
Love that. And my next question for you guys is, do you remember a specific point in your life when you began a gratitude practice? And again, if you can, I know we could spend all day diving into the life circumstances that shifted us each into a gratitude practice, but in just a couple sentences, what moment do you remember and what shifted you into a practice of gratitude? And Kathy, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Well, I feel like I mentioned it in the last one, so I'm going to focus on what re-entered me into it with the journaling this year. Yeah. And that had to do with going through a lot of life struggles and transitions and turning upside down, inside out, healing of trauma, healing of attachment. So in the journaling, that practice that brought me back in to have that be one of the categories. So I could free write like a morning pages. I could track myself, my progress, check in, like, how am I sleeping? How am I eating? Like, because it was a really rough time. And also I could set my intention and also have the category gratitude. And so as one of the categories, I made up my own categories. It could be like a checklist sheet or whatever. It brought me back into the practice of that focus of gratitude each day. And that would definitely help my mindset shift and bring in, if I can add another word, I think peace is a word that comes up that gratitude brings me also. So that's that.
Well, I was at a pretty low point in my life when I started my gratitude practice. And I was reaching out to various podcasts, webinars, and I kept hearing about this gratitude practice. And so I thought, well, what's the big deal about it? I thought, what can I lose by doing it? So I just, in fact, I have my gratitude notebook right here that I have on my shelves now that I could look back over the last 6 years and see, well, what was happening at that point in time. And it's very fulfilling, but it has really changed my brain to look at the cup half full instead of being in a place of negativity. And so that's what prompted me to do this.
So I started working with Vicki and doing some of that stuff before I ever started doing the grateful practice. But she actually gave me this book, 8 to Great, which discusses many, many things. But one of them is a gratitude practice. And I also read Brene Brown's The Gifts of Imperfections, which also speaks to that and many, many other things. Highly recommend both of those books. And so I really, that's where I started with actually doing the gratitude practice and writing down things. To go off of what Mindy was saying, one of my great things too is I've got my journal right here next to me. See, this is what happens when you start doing these practices, like you live next to them. And I will vacation with them and then just pull them out in the hotel room or my friend's house and write. But like Mindy was saying, I like to write in there, and then on like the back page, I'll see things that I wrote like maybe months ago, and I can read through them and be like, oh yeah, I remember when, my dog went to the vet and had surgery, or yeah, okay, it was back in February that happened already, So it is kind of nice, not just to write down what today's gratitude is, but actually to kind of peek back and see where you were even, a few months ago or a year ago or something like that, to help you kind of see your growth, or as some of the other speakers were talking about, how it shifts from maybe it was more based on, I'm so grateful that I have a couch, to I'm so grateful that I've had this conversation, or I have this relationship with this person. So.
Good question. It really made me think there. I suppose, and at first I want to say it's always an ebb and flow. It's not like I've been consistent through all these years at all. So, but I did want to remember the very first introduction I had to these concepts, that you could even shift further energies, or maybe as a form of manifestation, to draw in what your desires are by using gratitude as a tool. And that would be back in my early college days. And I had stepped away, naturally from the family, but recognizing the foundation with which I came from, and actually how unhealthy it was, and that there were other ways to be, and making a conscious choice of, well, how do I want to be? And then what tools am I gonna be using to get myself there? So one of the biggest tools that came into my life at that point in time was a book by Shakti Gawain. And I don't remember what it's called, but she's an older author now. Back then she was very popular in bringing these concepts into your real world. So yeah.
Thank you, Leanne, and thank you, everybody. I was brought back to 6 years, almost 7 years ago now. But so I'm a sober alcoholic. It's a big part of my story and journey. And I got sober, and then I got arrested. And the federal government seized all my assets. And so you can imagine I wasn't, just drunk driving. Which I wish I would have been just drunk driving, but and I remember my sponsor coming to me and saying, the solution to all your problems is acceptance and gratitude. And my first response was, are you high? Do you realize, like, they just took everything I own? And he said, well, what are you going to lose, right? Just acceptance and gratitude is the solution to all your answers. Start writing every day 10 things you're grateful for, right? And I started writing 10 things I was grateful for, and I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever done. I thought really what I should be doing is talking to my lawyer every day, right? But the two things I did right in the beginning was I didn't pick up a drink, or I didn't use a drug, and I just kept writing what I was grateful for every day. And my life got phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. Yeah, I paid the price. I paid the consequences, and there were a lot of consequences that came, which I got to pay. And the thing I'll say about my gratitude practice is, through that practice, I was able to fundamentally change my attitude, where I said, I get to pay this price. I have the opportunity to pay this price. I have an opportunity to go to jail. I have an opportunity to be of service while I'm in that place. I have an opportunity to pay society back. That would have been impossible if it wasn't for a gratitude practice. If it wasn't for this stupid piece of paper, right? And this pen fundamentally and drastically altered my neurochemistry, right? That's so today I'm grateful that I was arrested, that I got to meet the FBI at gunpoint. That was very exciting. And I'm grateful for that gratitude practice.
Mm. Well, thank you, Rahul, and thank you all for sharing your stories. And I just can't help but share my own practice at this point in time. And of course, my practice includes a whole bunch of colored. I'm the color person, so every time I write in my journal and my notebook, I'm writing in many different colors. And when I came here to Mexico, I didn't bring my colored pens with me, and I finally couldn't stand it anymore and had to go find some. So, but one of my gratitude practices right now is watching the sunset every day, because this is a place where there are amazing sunsets every day. And the commitment to go every day and sit on the ocean wall or be in the ocean and watch that just brings me to that moment where I'm feeling the warm wall beneath me, the breeze on my face. And it just, for me, has been this very anchoring place where I can slow down for a moment and watch this amazing paintbrush change the sky and remember all the great things I have in my world. So I have one more question for you guys, and then we're gonna share. Thank you for watching this mini episode of our special gratitude podcast. Please consider sharing this with the people you are grateful for. Every like and share helps us to spread love, light, and gratitude all around the world. And make sure and check out the full-length episode for all of the other amazing stories and insights that are shared in it. Have a beautiful day.